Among the beats that propel us is the music that we make, the music of the ages, now being aged in colors not thought to be possible. The arias, the symphonies, the cadenzas, and the solos, now unwrapped for all to see and hear. This is Classical Music in Color. I'm Judelin Gibson. On the show this March 2023, a first for Castle of Our Skins in Boston, an album with compositions from the African diaspora. Trent Johnson on his career as a church organist, the upcoming premiere of the movie Chevalier, and there's so much more. You know, it's one thing to successfully run a classical music organization for 10 years, then another to produce an album that's a musical portrait of what that organization is all about. You're listening to A Spiritual Fantasy of Wade in the Water by Frederick C. Tillis. It's one of the pieces on an album that was born in a coffee shop several years ago.
We met up at a coffee shop, and like how most things develop, wouldn't it be fun to record and do a concert? So in any case, that's how this project happened.
That's Ashley Gordon, the artistic and executive director of Castle of Our Skins in Boston. She's also a violist. The person she met in that coffee shop was pianist Samantha Eggy.
I have to give a lot of credit for Dr. Samantha Eggy for creating the proposal, for using her resources as an Oxford Fellow to be able to find the financial support and find the institutional support to be able to develop this.
What they came up with was the album Homage, chamber music from the African continent and diaspora, featuring the Castle of Our Skins Quartet and pianist Samantha Eggy. Gordon and Eggy curated the album with the intent of illuminating neglected classical composers across the African diaspora. Composers like Bongani Ndodana-breen of South Africa. He composed a 3-part musical response to the torturous history of apartheid. This is Safika, Movement 1. Safika, Movement 1, composed by ndodana-breen of South Africa. This is the first album, right?
This is our first album, and is an opportunity for us to sort of explore the digital commercial recording world. We very much have heard in all sorts of discussions and narratives and things like this around 2020 racial reckoning as it relates to this genre of classical music. Having recordings and having sheet music are two barriers, if there were barriers for organizations, other directors, schools to be able to program. And that's kind of an oversimplification. There's a lot of layers and nuances. So we wanted to have an opportunity to help in what ways we can, which certainly has related to a lot of publication that we are doing currently and will continue to do in the next coming years of sheet music, especially K through 12 appropriate sheet music, and also commercial recordings and being able to share out so people can continue to play and program.
And then there's Undine Smith Moore, Dean of Black Women Composers. She grew up in Virginia during the deep, dark days of the Jim Crow South. Her three-part work, Soweto, reflects her empathy for the plight of Black people everywhere who were living under oppressive systems. This is Soweto number 3. Soweto number 3, composed by Undine Smith Moore. The name of the album, Homage, chamber music from the African continent and African diaspora, featuring Castle of Our Skins and pianist Samantha Eggy. You will find the links in a different place this month. My website is down, so I'll direct you to my Spreaker.com account. You can find me under the Second Street Dreams Audio Network. There's more new music just ahead. Trent Johnson is a busy man. He's the organist and assistant director of music of the Unitarian Church of All Souls in New York City.
I'm also the assistant artistic director of Musica Viva New York, which is also affiliated with the church. Those are probably two of my titles. I mean, there are other musical activities that I have in my life as well. I'm also a composer. I've written a lot of organ music, chamber music. I've written oratorios, cantatas. I've written an opera. I'm also an organist. I play for the Christmas Spectacular Show at Radio City Music Hall. I've been doing that for several years. And I am also the music director and conductor of the Oratorio Singers of Westfield, New Jersey, in which we present large choral works for chorus and orchestra.
He recently completed a performance with the Musica Viva New York Choir, and now he's in rehearsals for a concert with the Oratorio Singers of Westfield, New Jersey. How did you get into playing the organ?
Well, my journey into music was quite accidental in a sense. I was 12 years old, and my dad wanted my sister to take piano lessons, and I thought it would be a good idea to tag along. So within 6 months, it was pretty clear that I really was enjoying what I was doing. And within 3 years, I had realized that being a professional musician is what I wanted to do with my life.
How old were you?
I was 15 when I made that decision. I didn't know exactly all the ins and outs of how to make a living as a musician, but I knew that this journey was one that I needed to go on to. And it was, I was good in math and science, and I was good in school in a lot of subjects, but there's something about music and classical music in particular that grabbed me and sent me in that direction.
Well, it sounds like it was your only path.
It turned out to be the path, the only one that I wanted to take. I mean, I was also a double major. Well, first I went into music school as a pianist. Then I changed to organ because I'd been taking organ and piano for a long time. And then I was a recording engineer. I was a double major in that for a while. And then when I got admitted to Juilliard, I realized that I need to make a decision. I can't do all of these different things. And so I decided that I wanted to be a church musician. And being a church musician gives you the opportunity to explore choral music, of course, organ music. You can be a conductor, you can be an arranger, you can be a composer. I was very fortunate to gain a position where I was leader of an oratorio chorus. So as a result of that, I was able to write oratorios and cantatas and work with orchestras. That's sort of the direction that I went into. And I didn't really come from a musical family at all. So a lot of my curiosity in my early teens came from reading and from listening to classical music radio stations. And that,
wow.
The passion.
You must have been a very interesting teenager and young man.
Was certainly different. Let's put it that way. I was certainly different. I mean, to give you an example, one of the greatest presents that I had as a teenager, I was about 16, was a pair of headphones. And that were really, why was that such a great gift for me? Because I could listen to all the music I wanted to without disturbing the whole family. It was like, oh, it was amazing. It was amazing. Yes. Well, I was a different child, yes.
That's great. That's great. And how long have you been at it now?
Well, since college, I've over 20 years, 25 years, since I was a teenager and since graduating college, I've been one of those very fortunate musicians who, for most of the time since graduation, I've worked full time as a church musician. So,
what do you love about it?
I love, what do I love about working for churches? Well, it gives me the opportunity. I've been very fortunate to be in places where I have been able to thrive.
This is one of his compositions, Serenity for Organ. Trent Johnson, organist and assistant director of music of the Unitarian Church of All Souls in New York City. His next event is the concert with the Oratorio Singers in New Jersey. It's March 26th in Westfield. They will debut 3 new compositions by Johnson. Next up, Black Violin, offering grants to music students in need. Black Violin, you know them, the duo showing the violin a thing or two with their music. This is Take the Stairs. They are offering an opportunity through their Black Violin Foundation, or BVF. Applications are open for their 2023 Grant and Instrument Access Program. You're eligible to apply if you are a musician or vocalist between the ages of 7 and 21, and you must be enrolled in a current music education program. This BVF award could mean financial help with renting or buying an instrument, or perhaps voice lessons. Applications will close on April 3rd. Links are on my Spreaker.com account under the Second Street Dreams Audio Network. My website is down. I don't really want to talk about it. My coda this month.
Welcome to Paris, Joseph.
You're listening to the trailer for the movie Chevalier. This is the biopic about the virtuoso violinist, celebrated composer, and champion swordsman. Joseph Boulon, Chevalier de Saint-Georges, was the son of an African slave and a plantation owner.
I realized the more I exiled, the less I was alone.
Were you always so competitive?
He and Mozart were friends. The movie stars Kelvin Harris Jr. as Chevalier.
May I play with you, monsieur?
Well, I hope this won't be embarrassing for you.
It's scheduled to be released in movie theaters sometime next month. Thank you for listening to the March 2023 edition of Classical Music in Color. My website is down for what appears to be a long time, so for the time being, please go to Spreaker.com to hear this show and any of my other podcasts. Look for it under the Second Street Dreams Audio Network. My podcasts are also on various other platforms. Sorry about this, but if you've ever had a website, you know what I'm going through. I'll be back in April with Pamela Dawson. She's the 2023 Grammy Music Educator of the Year. I'm Judelin Gibson. Thank you for listening.